This is Mark Graven from KaiNexus, and today's podcast is a short preview of our next webinar. It's going to be presented on April 29th at 1 o'clock Eastern, and it's titled Strategy Deployment, Driving Strategies Across the System. And we're joined today by the presenter for that webinar. He is Bill Griffith. Bill, how are you?
Good afternoon, Mark. Great. How are you?
Doing good. I'm looking forward to what you're going to share in the webinar. And, we'll give a bit of a teaser here, but I was wondering if you could, first off, introduce yourself and tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So Bill Griffith, I'm our Associate Vice President for System Integration and Standardization. In a nutshell, that means I have our process improvement team. I work on all of our corporate strategies. And then I also manage our command center for our 4 hospitals, where we manage all of our patient placement and EVS and transport across the health system.
And you're going to talk about this in much more detail in the webinar, but at a high level for people who might not be familiar, you can give us just kind of an overview of what is strategy deployment and how has that been helpful to Broward Health?
So we purchased KaiNexus about a year ago at this point, and historically we had done our strategic planning for the 4 hospitals across the health system in a PowerPoint and Word format with some Excel files to track things on. And it was very evident over the last 18 months that we needed a better solution. So in the webinar, we're going to talk about what we used to use, meaning PowerPoint and Word, and then how we've rolled out strategy deployment with KaiNexus, and how we've been able to improve the function of strategy deployment, connecting the 4 hospitals and ensuring that we aren't duplicating work across the health system.
And so one of the things, and I think you're going to tell the longer story in the webinar, but one thing I've seen health systems and get tripped up by is having too many high priority initiatives or strategic initiatives or whatever they might be called. For one, why does that tend to be, and how does the discipline of strategy development help address that?
Yeah, so we definitely were experiencing that, and I think we still probably could learn and continue to make that better. When we first started this, we had over 300 strategies across the health system, and being able to get all that done within a 12-month period was just too much. So we were able to look across the system using KaiNexus and be able to streamline and actually take some of those strategies out, not necessarily stop them, but postpone them for another year or maybe 2 years, knowing that we had to do some things to get there before we could get to those final goals. So we've been able to really focus and make sure that what we have on our strat plan is truly benefiting our community and our patients.
And like you say, it's a journey to try to kind of reduce the overburden, and that doesn't happen overnight. This is all kind of an evolutionary process, right?
Absolutely. And with what's recently happening in the environment with the COVID-19, we've had to change some of our strategies. One of the benefits of using the system, though, we were able to get ahead of the game. So we can talk about more of that on the podcast of what it meant to actually have our strat plan done prior to going into this epidemic.
Yeah. And certainly wish the best for all the caregivers and everybody there at Broward Health during these times. So I'm glad that you're, even with everything that's going on, that you're able to do the webinar here. So we're looking forward to that very much. If you want to register, you can go to kainexus.com/webinars. And again, it's going to be held on Wednesday, April 29th at 1 o'clock Eastern. Strategy Deployment, Driving Strategies Across the System is presented by Bill Griffith, who's been our guest today. Bill, again, thank you so much for, thanks in advance for doing the webinar, and thank you for being willing to share with us.
Absolutely, Mark. I'm looking forward to our conversation, and stay safe.
You too. Thanks.